What up everybody, username here. We're back again in the Taiwan server, and today we're going over Kawhi Leonard. He's actually one of the best characters in the game. His defensive pressure is just insane. When he's around, you can't even rely on ISO. As you can see from the bottom, there's a bar. When he is within 4 meters of the opposing ball handler, the bar will begin to fill up. It takes about 5 seconds to fill up. When it reaches this part, he will be enhanced where his steal success rate is greatly increased, and he can perform a steal before the opponent goes for a shot. After a successful steal, his shot accuracy increases significantly and his interference angle is slightly reduced. This effect is cleared after making a shot and cannot be stacked. After 1.5 seconds or a successful steal, the bar will quickly reset. Whenever he uses sprint, his steal turns into this rushing steal. When he's in the enhanced state, he can trigger it when he's 2 meters away from the opponent. His ultimate is a dash towards the ball handler, where his contest is greatly increased and reduces the accuracy of shooting ultimates. He can also chain this into a block. When he's in the enhanced state and is within 4.5 meters away from the opponent, his ultimate turns into a snatching steal. While holding defense, the chance of getting shaken off is slightly reduced, and every drive attempt by the opponent will slightly increase his bar. Now, for one of the most broken parts of his kit, when his bar is full, holding defense will straight up shut down any drive attempt by his matchup. It only works if you're within 2 meters and in a 240-degree arc in front of the opponent. His drive is pretty unique. He does a between the leg dribble and explodes towards the joystick's direction. It can stack up to 3, and using it consecutively will extend the time of the between the leg dribble. Then he'll explode towards the joystick's direction. He's got a spin fadeaway that can be triggered by pressing shoot while moving. It can be triggered in this area. He also has this dunk that works from 3 to 5 meters away from the rim. For the talents, here's the order I recommend. First, get this. When the opponent catches the ball from long range or stop dribbling within 5 meters, his bar will be filled immediately. Next, get this. During his drive, he can interrupt it with a shot that has a reduced interference range. After that, get this. While he is performing his drive, defenders within his interference range will have their movement speed slightly reduced for 1 second. Then, get this. On offense, he can perform his infamous Dagger 3, which costs 1,500 morale. It has a greatly increased 3-point accuracy, and it can only be used once per game. It can only be triggered in this area. Get this one too. After a successful rushing steal, his sprint cooldown will be reset. Lastly, get this. While holding defense, if he collides with a screener, he'll automatically move around the screen. You may think this is good, but nope, you still get pushed away a little bit. I also recommend getting his swift enhancement. His steal attempts have a chance to force the opponent into a dead ball. Every successful steal, block, or forced dead ball increases his interference attribute, stacking up to 5 times. For some tips and combos, here are the ones that you'll need. On offense, while you have the ball, walk towards the opposite direction of an open area, then quickly flick the joystick to the opposite direction and drive. Here, you can go for a fadeaway towards left or right, depending on your joystick's direction when pressing shoot. Or a dunk if you're double-teamed. You can also mix it up by adding more dribbles, then finishing with your fadeaway or dunk, depending on the situation. You can easily get a 3-pointer when your defenders are slacking off. After 2 drives, if your opponent is on the edge of your interference range during the between the legs dribble, quickly go for the pull-up. You can only do this in the first 10-second drive. When performing this shot on the 3rd drive, you end up shooting after the drive. To take advantage of that mechanic, we can do this. While in this area, drive, then either drive towards the corner and go for an ultimate. Most of the time, opponents will camp in this area. And if that happens, do this instead. On the last drive, drive again, bot in the opposite direction. Then hold shoot to execute a pull-up 3. On defensive possessions, use your sprint when your opponent is going to drive or when you're going around screens. And also, don't hold defense all the time. This is crucial because Kawhi is pretty slow compared to other defensive players, resulting to him being left behind. Additionally, when your matchup doesn't have the ball, try to get close to the ball handler. Not too close where your matchup is wide open, but close enough where he can start to fill up his bar. And as soon as your bar is full, quickly use his ultimate or rushing steal. In most cases, your matchup will pass the ball to their teammate once your bar is about to fill up. You can take advantage of this by predicting who'll receive the pass and targeting them with his ultimate. As soon as the match starts, quickly switch matchups to defend the more ball-dominant opponent by pressing this, then selecting them. If you have decent teammates, they will accept the switch. You can also use his ultimate and his rushing steal as a dash to close the gap between you and the opponent. After his snatching ultimate, you can immediately shoot since the opponent is left in a recovery animation where they're practically stunned. This easily turns their turnover into a quick bucket. Take note, his steals are not 100% guaranteed. In some rare cases, they'll fail and even miss. For the potential, I use Interceptor, On Fire, and Mobile Defender. This spreads the stats across movement, steal, and strength. I use this because his drive-stopping defense scales with strength, and extra movement speed is important since his base speed is low, while still keeping decent three-point shooting and steal. He doesn't really need offensive stats because he's mainly a defensive player. You can also replace On Fire with Straight In if you want more movement speed, but this sacrifices their three-point shooting. For the partner, I picked the one that boosts his mid-range. Before we get into some gameplay, drop a like and comment if you're enjoying the video, and sub if you're new. It helps out a lot and I really appreciate it. Anyways, that's enough talk. Let's witness the claw lock down everyone.